I grew up in San Antonio, which is to say, in part, I grew up in a place where the dominant form of Christian faith was not evangelical Christianity as it is here, but Roman Catholic. The Catholic Church played a large enough role that San Antonio is an archdiocese, a diocese governed by an archbishop. Literally, all my friends on the street where I grew up were Catholics. We were the only Protestant family on the block. So I grew up with a healthy and mostly positive view of the Catholic Church. A far cry from my rock-ribbed Southern Baptist grandmother Baskin, who tended to see Catholics as a heretical sect at best, if she considered them to be Christian at all. My question today is, what does Roman Catholicism bring to the larger Christian Church that is important and worthwhile? This is part of my series, The Many Faces of Faith. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas, and this is your daily devotional for Wednesday, May 4th, 2023. Returning yet again to Jerusalem, you will see a lot of Roman Catholics. You don't always know them by their dress, but you'll often know them by what they do and where they go in the old city. You won't find large numbers of them at the Western Wall, for example. That's a site that is holy to the Jewish community. In fact, it is considered the holiest site in modern Judaism, for it is the closest most Jews can ever get to the long-destroyed Second Temple. No, most Roman Catholics will make a pilgrimage from the Mount of Olives down the hill with stops at several churches along the way before entering the city through the Lion's Gate on the east side of the city. It is there that the Via Dolorosa begins, with its 14 stations of the cross. Either individually or more often in groups, sometimes really large groups, they will make their way from the first station, marking the traditional spot where Jesus was condemned, to the last ones, all within the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. This is a highly emotional journey for many Catholic pilgrims, and in fact is often the high point of their life of faith. Like evangelical Christians, they are here to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. Unlike evangelicals, though, the focus of their pilgrimage is the stations of the cross. Roman Catholicism has many strengths, but like the rest of the church, including our part, it also has some weaknesses. One of those weaknesses is a kind of presumptuousness that it is the church, and all other forms of Christianity consist of those who have simply fallen away from the one true church. And while we say in our creeds that we do indeed believe in one holy Catholic Church, what we mean is very different. We mean Catholic with a small c in its more generic sense of universal. At its worst, Roman Catholicism believes itself to be the Holy Catholic Church. Roman Catholicism also has an unfortunate tendency to de-emphasize the importance of the Bible. Don't get me wrong, they do hold the Bible in high regard, but unlike Protestant Christianity, the Bible is not necessarily the highest source of authority. In addition to the Bible, the Catholic Church lifts up the tradition, meaning the official writings of the Church, and especially the catechisms, as authoritative in a way that always seems a little strange to us Protestants. It is fair to say that while we both honor tradition, Catholics in the form of the catechisms and other official writings, Protestants in the form of confessional statements, Catholics elevate these things to a degree that Protestants simply don't. But with all of that, there are things about the Roman Catholic Church that the rest of the Christian Church should recognize and admire. One of these things is the Church's ability to incorporate a widely divergent set of subgroups and traditions under one large tent. There are what almost amount to denominations within Catholicism, which, if they were Protestant, they would have split off from the Church. Instead, the Catholic Church acknowledges and accepts different and often even contradictory groups and movements. Think Benedictines, Franciscans, and the many other orders within the Church. To us Protestants, it can be a bewildering set of organizations, sometimes working at cross purposes, but all of which call the Roman Catholic Church home. Contrast that with us Protestants who will split at the drop of a hat. So at its best, the Roman Catholic Church reminds us of the essential unity of the Church, which is composed of very many and very different elements. The Catholic Church also reminds us that we Protestants aren't the only show in town, and that, in fact, in our various flavors, we are a minority within the Christian family. The Catholic Church also reminds us that we have a long history that predates the Protestant Reformation. I had a parishioner in another church who honestly believed that the church essentially ceased to exist between the time of Constantine and the emergence of the Reformation, and that in between, nothing important happened. A wrong-headed assumption at best, and a tragic mistake at worst. While we focus on only one error that cropped up in the Catholic Church, the sale of indulgences against which Martin Luther thundered, there were centuries of important theological work being done, even during the so-called Dark Ages. So at its best, Roman Catholicism holds up a vision of a universal church that transcends our many differences and reminds us of Jesus' prayer in the Gospel of John that John says at the Last Supper, "I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who will believe in me through their word, that they may all be one. As you, Father, are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one, as we are one, I in them and you in me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me." Tomorrow, a portion of the church you and I rarely see, Eastern Orthodoxy. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.